Jared Boyd here, physical therapist and strength coach at Rehab to Perform in Frederick, Maryland. Here to give you all some advice about how to properly implement warm-up strategies before you run. I really think the phrase warm-up might not be a great term to use. Maybe we should say movement preparation, because that really entails all the principles that should happen before you start to run. So we like to use RAMP, R-A-M-P. I'm going to take you through each letter, what it entails and what it signifies, and then later you can look into our YouTube database and see how can you implement some of these movements before you go into your run. So we'll start here with raise. Here all we're thinking about is how do we raise our heart rate, our blood flow, respiratory rate. Really this comes down to things like marching, skipping, strategies that we're using to really just get our joints ready, get our heart rate and our blood flow throughout our body primed before we go into A, which is going to be activate. Activate, we're thinking about how can I activate what we call the pillar. The pillar is simply our core or our torso. It goes all the way down from shoulders, midsection into the glutes. So we want to make sure that we can have ability to prime these muscles before we start to execute some type of demanding task like a run. Here it's going to be a lot of banded exercises. So we're doing things in a static position, but making sure that it's still a little dynamic in regard to moving lower extremity one at a time. Next we'll go into M, or mobilize. We're thinking about how do we gain better access to certain tissues or joints that may be stiff, so that when we go into our run, we have the ability to move freely without having restrictions. Next, we'll go into P, which means potentiate. Here we're thinking about exciting our nervous system. Thinking about parasympathetic versus sympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic, more of our rest, relaxation. We want to have the opposite and have our sympathetic nervous system turn up, which is going to be more of our flight or fight, where we're really getting our body geared and ready for the run that we're about to complete. So here's our RAMP system, R-A-M-P. I think this is a more efficient and sufficient way to implement movement preparation.